Let's call this meeting to order. 25 after 7. Mr. Clerk, can you please, let's salute the flag and let's have the prayer for the day.
God of the universe, look thou with favor upon these here assembled, and bestow thy guidance upon the members of the governing body in their deliberations. This we ask in thy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the event of an emergency, the proper method of exiting the council chambers is through the 3 doors near the back of the room. So in case of an emergency, please get up, calmly you walk out, which we all do that. The place could be on fire, we have an earthquake, and everybody walks out very calmly. But I have to make that announcement. Any member of the public that wishes to speak during the public comment, please come up, sign up on the front. And cell phones. I'm going to turn my cell phone off because we're going to collect cell phones today. Oh, my cell phone is off. Everybody, please turn your cell phones off. Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Sure. Mrs. Ormond?
Here.
Byer?
Here.
Brown?
Here.
Brooks?
Here.
Crosby Hurling?
Here.
Sadowski?
Here.
Strano?
Here.
Yamakaitis?
Here.
Medina?
Here.
Hickey?
Here.
Mr. Alvarez?
Here. Approving the minutes of March 15th, 2016. I need a motion.
Second.
Who's the motion?
You said second?
Yeah.
Okay, you're
President, make
good.
a motion.
Let's start with the motion first.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Abstain.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. At this time, we're going to go through a presentation of the budget statement. Please, Councilman Brown, can you enlighten us?
Give me 1 second, I'm pulling it up. Okay. As chairman of the Finance and Budget Review, I'm pleased to introduce the City of Linden 2014 municipal budget. Over the past few years, Mayor Derek Armstead and the City of Linden Council have worked hard to stabilize property taxes. As a result, the 2016 municipal budget represents a total of $105,362,660.34 in expenses for the year 2016. And the average municipal tax rate increase represents the lowest tax rate increase since 2006 of $71.02 per average assessed home value of $134,000, or an increase of $5.92 a month. As with the 2015 budget, the focus of this year's budget is on public safety, public works, and the improvement of infrastructure throughout the city. In regards to addressing public safety, we are hiring at least 14 more police officers. This year, our police officers will be wearing body cameras that were purchased by the Union County Prosecutor's Office. In addition, cameras will be installed at the Linden train station and municipal buildings, parks, and various locations. In regards to our aging police building and infrastructure, the council approved a study to be conducted to address this serious issue. This is a long overdue project that has been on the back burner for more than a decade. We will be addressing trees, trash, garbage, and snow removal with hiring at least 8 more public work employees. Furthermore, the city will be purchasing 2 additional automated sanitation trucks. This will allow the city to expand the program from just 3 wards to throughout the whole city by 2017. In addition, by using these trucks, more manpower can be reassigned and deployed to address other public works functions. To address snow removal, better equipment, and more plows have been capitalized in order to more efficiently plow and remove snow from our streets. Finally, the City of Linden will be making improvements to our streets, sidewalks, and parks through use of state aid grants and capital funds. About 25 municipal streets and 2 merchant parking lots will be resurfaced. This will help, with the help of Linden freeholder Chris Hudak, Union County will be resurfacing Elizabeth Avenue from Style Street to Park Avenue. Also, which is not my report, from St. George Avenue to Blanky Street will be resurfaced with the county. However, the biggest project paid by grant money will take place on will take place with various improvements to be made on Wood Avenue. This project will include pedestrian safety improvements at the corner of Northwood Avenue and Elizabeth Avenue. The sidewalks will be replaced and extended out by 4 feet on both sides to allow outdoor dining. Light pole replacement and other beautification projects will take place as well. I would like to thank all members of the governing body for their assistance and recommendations on the 2016 budget. I would also like to specifically thank the City of Linden CFO, her staff, and every department head for their dedication and due diligence in preparing this 2016 budget. End of statement. And we will present the budget now. Someone kill the lights?
It's a fabulous presentation. I just have to say that.
Good evening. I would just like to thank the mayor and council for allowing me to present the 2016 municipal budget. I'm Alexis Sack, the CFO here in the city of Linden. I have the pleasure of doing this since 1996. The City of Linden's 2016 municipal budget is broken into 2 separate categories. Operating expenses of salary and wages, which is $45,635,371, which carries the salary and wages for all of our full and part-time employees, which total 575 employees. The other expense category is their operational budgets, our statutory expenses, and our debt service at $59,727,289.34 for a grand total of a 2016 appropriations of $105,362,660.34. The total 2016 appropriations broken down into this pie chart to help illustrate where the major expenses are. If you look at number 1, our public safety department, we have a fully paid police department, fire department, central dispatch, and OEM. This public safety area roughly equates to 29.18% of our total appropriations, or $30,742,400. The second largest category is our insurances. Our insurances cover all the health insurance for our employees, as well as our liability and workers' compensation insurance, which roughly equates to 17.71%, or $18,655,300 in appropriations for the year 2016. Our third largest category is our public property department, which through the years has taken on various divisions. We have the Division of Public Works, the Division of Recreation, the Division of Buildings and Grounds, Parks, Transportation, and Municipal Garage, all fall under the Public Property Department, which equates to $14,183,020, or roughly 13.46% of our total appropriations. The fourth largest category is our statutory expenses, which is our Social Security, our unemployment, our pension obligations. Our statutory expenses are $11,933,377, or roughly 11.33% of our total appropriations. The fifth largest category is our debt service, where we try to keep an even debt service. We're under the state of New Jersey's minimum debt service requirement. We're roughly at 1%. The debt service for Linden's $11,383,000, or roughly 10.80%. We tried to keep our debt service level. As debt is dropping off, we then try to do a permanent financing. We have our sixth largest category, which is our general government, which is all various non-public safety departments that are housed in City Hall, from the mayor's office to the city clerk's office, to the law department, to the finance department, our engineering department. The total for general government is $10,272,581.41, or roughly 9.75% of our total appropriations. The seventh category is our reserve for uncollected taxes. As a municipality, we're responsible for collecting all the taxes and turning over the portion of the amount to be raised, 100% for the Board of Education, 100% to the County of Union. But as a municipality, our tax collection rate is over 98%. But we have to have a reserve for uncollected taxes because no municipality collects 100%. So we budget $4,057,560, or roughly 3.85% of our total appropriations. Our eighth category is our utilities at $2,390,250, or 2.27%. This utility budget, it covers all 23 facilities in the city of Linden, along with all 36 parks. We've been able to reduce this through various cooperatives and shared services agreements, and we have a dedicated purchasing agent that works diligently to reduce those utility expenses wherever possible. Through the Sewerage Authority Co-op, we've been able to save the city a substantial amount of money through that cooperative. And our last category is something the state of New Jersey required several years ago, that every New Jersey municipality show on their tax bill what does it cost to operate a library. And I know the council members had received certain requests as to that question. The state of New Jersey tells us as a municipality what the minimum library requirement we can budget. This year, the minimum was $1,745,171.93. This equates to roughly 1.66% of our total appropriations. The library, broken down as to the various expenses that the city pays also towards their debt service. We had a very antiquated library that the governing body back in 2005 and 2007 recognized, and we built a state-of-the-art library, which cost over $15 million. The debt service annually that we have to pay for those two series is over $700,000. So therefore, the minimum operational amount that the city can give is this $1,745,171.93, which is based on your equalized valuation that the state looks at every municipality and determines what the minimum is. This year, we budgeted the minimum, but in the past 2 years, we had budgeted more. We had budgeted $184,000 more than what the state minimum was because the council recognized the importance of the library. And the prior year, we also budgeted $64,000 more than what the minimum was. But historically, we are trying to keep within the state minimum. And also, as a municipality, if we do choose to increase that minimum amount, the burden falls on all the taxpayers of the city of Linden. So that number would go up as far as your taxes. We also provide a yearly maintenance for our website for the library that the city also contributes towards. And Councilman Medina had been instrumental last year in having some computers donated to the library, which was over $8,000. So the city does recognize the importance of the library, and they put forward those initiatives into the 2016 budget. This chart I like to show because a lot of people want to know exactly what the amount to be raised by taxation is and why does it seem to be going up. If you look in 2006, the state aid number was $23,730,177. Our state aid represented over 28.82% of all our total revenue that we received in 2006. And in 2009, we received $22,843,845 of state aid. Now, in 2016, our state aid's been stagnant for the last 6 years at $19,909,229, and roughly it's 18.90% of our total revenues. If you look at, if we would have been able to keep that same state aid at the $22 million number in 2009, over the last 7 years, we wouldn't have lost state aid of $2.9 million, which basically equates to over a $20 million loss of our state aid because we've had stagnant state aid and no increases. So therefore, in 2006, our amount to be raised by taxation was only at $31 million, or roughly 38% of the total revenues. This, in 2016, because of the loss of the rateable base and the loss of state aid, that shift is now on the amount to be raised by taxation, which is $58,228,173.68, or roughly 55.26% of your total revenues. And I know everyone wants to know how this is going to personally impact them. Based on an average assessed home of $134,000, the municipal portion is what this city council has control over. Your municipal portion of your taxes will increase by one of the lowest tax rates since 2006, or $71.02 a year, or if you equate that to a month, $5.92. The second component of the budget is our capital improvement plan. When we talk about our capital improvement plan, these are various capital infrastructure upgrades that we need to make throughout the city of Linden, from our roads to our sewers to our various equipment. We have our public safety departments and our fire department and our police department that'll be upgrading certain vehicles, their firefighting equipment, turnout gear, and thermal imaging cameras. And in the police department, they're working on computerization updating. They're working on also, Councilman Brown had alluded to the planning and study for a new police headquarters, which has been long overdue. And they're also looking to upgrade their handguns, rifles, and associated equipment for the public safety departments. On the non-public safety department side, which is probably the most visible that you see, is our Public Works Department. Our Public Works Department this year, the council has in the budget plans to purchase the automated sanitation trucks with plows, which should complete their fleet of one-armed bandits and allow the manpower that was on that garbage truck to be spread amongst the other divisions in Public Works. We also have the engineering department, which is probably one of the most critical, dealing with the infrastructure of the city of Linden. And we will also be getting grants to offset some of those expenses. But we have our curbs and sidewalk program, our sanitary sewer improvements, the various street resurfacing throughout the city of Linden. And we also have our public property and community services departments that are going to have various park upgrades, the roof replacement at certain buildings that have had wear and tear, and citywide vehicles. I would just like to thank everyone for their time and attention this evening, and I'd be glad to answer any specific questions you may have on the 2016 municipal budget. I thank this governing body and the mayor for their assistance, and all the department heads, and especially my staff, for dealing with me for the last several months and preparing this presentation and the 2016 municipal budget. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mrs. Sack. Everybody's applauding at the last picture, right? No.
I added that one.
What?
I added that picture.
Cool.
Is there any questions?
Yes, there's a sign-in sheet. At this time, we're going to go with any questions on the budget.
I was going to tell him to fix that. I was just going to tell him to fix that podium.
Nobody signed up?
No questions?
Okay.
This is the first.
What?
This is the first.
You guys did a great job, Mrs. Zach. Great job, especially the last picture. Well, at this time, I would like to ask Mr. Borek to read the budget resolution. And I need a motion to close the public hearing, which we didn't have.
Council President, make a motion to close the public hearing on the budget and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurley?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamikaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Linden, County of Union, that the budget herebefore set forth is hereby adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purpose stated of the sums therein set forth as appropriations, and authorize the amount of $58,228,173.68 for municipal purposes, and $1,745,171.93 minimum library tax. General revenues surplus anticipated $8,700,000. Miscellaneous revenues anticipated $34,401,814.73. Receipts from delinquent taxes, $2,287,500. Amount to be raised by taxation, $58,228,173.68. Amount to be raised by taxation minimum library levy, $1,745,171.93. Total revenues of $105,362,660.34. General appropriations. Operations including contingent, $73,775,188. Deferred charges and statutory expenditures municipal, $10,695,077. Operations, total operations excluded from cap, $3,831,835.34. Capital improvements, $500,000. Municipal debt service, $11,383,000. Deferred charges municipal, $1,120,000. Reserve for uncollected taxes, $4,057,560. Total appropriations, $105,362,660.34.
May I have a motion to adopt the budget, please?
Council President, make a motion for the approval of the 2016 budget and ask for a second.
Second?
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Bless you.
God bless you. God bless you.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemekaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. At this time, we're going to go with the presentation of the budget for the SID. Councilman Brown, can you please present the budget for the SID? God bless you.
Bless you. You done, Joe?
He's allergic to high numbers.
Okay. Notice is hereby given for the hearing of the Special Improvement District Management Budget will be held at City Hall on Tuesday, April 19th, 2016 at 7 p.m., at which time and place objections to the budget may be presented by taxpayers or other interested parties. Copies of the budget are available in the office of Mr. Bodick, City Clerk, at the Municipal Building, 301 Northwood Avenue, Linden, New Jersey, 07036. And he can be reached at 908-474-8452 during the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Request for the July 1st to 2006 to June 30th, 2017 Linden District Municipal Annual Budget is asked for. Ask for approval. I'll need a second.
Second?
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
No.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemekaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
No.
Mr. Alvarez?
No. At this time, I guess there's nobody that wants to speak on the SID budget,
That would have spoken.
so I need a motion to close the SID budget, to close the hearing.
Supposed to be done before. Make a motion, yeah.
Public hearing.
I make a motion to close the public hearing for the SID budget and ask for a second.
Second?
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemekaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. This is the date and time established for the public hearing for ordinances on hearing. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-14?
Okay. 1 second, sir. Bond ordinance authorizing the HVAC conversions at firehouses and appropriating $44,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $41,800 in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost.
Has this ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? In that case, may I have a motion, please?
Council President, make a motion for the adoption of ordinance 60-14 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-15?
Bond ordinance authorizing the acquisition of asphalt for the Public Works Department and appropriating $110,000, therefore, and issuing and authorizing the issuance of $104,500 in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? In that case, may I have a motion, please?
Council President, make a motion for the introduction of ordinance 60-15, ask for a second.
Second. Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-16?
Bond ordinance authorizing the acquisition of sports utility vehicles for the police department and appropriating $198,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $188,100 in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion to approve this ordinance, please?
Council President, make a motion for the introduction of ordinance 60-16, ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
No.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-17?
Bond ordinance authorizing the implementation of a streetscape project along the Wood Avenue corridor and appropriating $990,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $940,500 in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has there been any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I make a motion for the adoption of ordinance 60-17, ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling? Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-18?
Bond ordinance authorizing the acquisition of various items of capital equipment for the Public Works Department and appropriating $1,172,600 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,113,970 in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Move for introduction, ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-19?
An ordinance to establish a cap bank for calendar year 2016.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion on the ordinance, please?
Council President, make a motion for the approval of ordinance 60-19 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Cosby Hurling.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Strano.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Hickey.
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez.
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-20?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-42, Parking Fines, 7-42.1, Fines established shall be amended as follows. Amend various parking fine amounts.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone wish to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, make a motion for the approval of ordinance 60-20 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez.
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-21?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 10, Building and Housing, Section 1, Chapter 10, Building and Housing, 10-2.1, Subcode Fees shall be amended, and the same is hereby amended and supplements as follows. Delete Section 10-2.1.1H, Number 1, Building Subcode Fees in its entirety. Add Section 10-2.1.1H1, Building Subcode Fees as follows. 1, Plan Review, 25% of amount charged for new construction permit in accordance with NJAC 5-23-4.18B1. Said amount is non-refundable in the event the permit is canceled for any reason.
Has this ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wish to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance 60-21 and seek a second. Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez.
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-22?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, 7-33, Handicap Parking Regulations, 7-33.1A, Handicap Parking on Street. A, delete 632 Maple Avenue, number of spaces 1.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, make a motion for the approval of ordinance 60-22 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez.
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-23?
Bond ordinance authorizing the acquisition of various items of technology equipment for the police department and appropriating $418,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $397,100 in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
Has this ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? In that case, may I have a motion, please?
Council President, make a motion for the approval of ordinance 60-23 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez.
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-24?
Bond ordinance authorizing assessment and planning study for the improvement of the police department headquarters and appropriating $55,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $52,250 bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, make a motion for the approval of ordinance 60-24 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
No.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-25?
Bond ordinance authorizing the acquisition of various items of capital equipment for the police department and appropriating $77,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $73,150 in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communications been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to make a comment on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
That's me again? What number are we on? Council President, making a motion for the approval of ordinance 60-26 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling? Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got it.
That was 26.
Just, the ordinance that was being approved was 60-25, not 60-26.
Oh, well, no then.
Everybody okay with that? 60-25? Mr. Clerk, can you please read 60-26?
Bond ordinance authorizing the acquisition of various vehicles for and by the city of Linden and appropriating $226,800 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $215,460 in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
May I have a motion for ordinance 60-26?
Council President, make a motion for the approval of ordinance 60-26 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-27?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 4, General Licensing as follows. 4-35, Licensing of Taxi Cabs. Delete Section 4-35.1, Definitions. Add new Section 4-35.1, Definitions.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
I move for the introduction of ordinance 60-27 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Okay, time for the consent agenda. All items listed with asterisks are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member or a citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda, items 1 through 4. Does anyone wish to remove any specific item? In that case, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
Council President, I make a motion to accept the consent agenda. Call for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Okay, at this time, we're going to go for committee reports and comments from the members. Let's start with Councilwoman Orman, please.
Thank you, Council President. Just like to give you a quick update on the redevelopment committee meeting that we had this month. Duke property, we're currently at Phase 1. We're studying a plan to be prepared to help the owner secure short-term exemption by spring. JTG Scaffolding, which is located on Elizabeth Avenue, the plan has been presented by Paul Ritchie, and it's done. We're just waiting on council approval. The Transit Village and Wood Avenue redevelopment. Currently, we're done with Phase 1 of the redevelopment of the Transit Village on Wood Avenue, which includes the Capitaglia building. Phase 2 will include the redevelopment of the Quick Check area, along with the laundromat further down on Wood Avenue. This area is still in need of more visioning and planning to make it look more comprehensive, look more like a comprehensive downtown area. United Lacquer, we're looking to have it acknowledged as an orphan property so the NJDEP can allow the City of Linden to apply for DEP spill funds. Possibly up to $3.5 million is estimated for the cleanup of the site. We received the report from Linden's Board of Health, and we declared it a health emergency. Now we're working with the lawyers and NJDEP to figure out the best way to move forward. It needs to be declared an area in need of a development so we can begin the process. The Pathmark site, Key Foods is interested in relocating there or locating a store there. It's still in negotiations. One of the good things about Key Foods coming there is that it's a union shop, and they have the plans to rehire the former Pathmark employees and Linden residents. So we're kind of excited about that. That concludes my redevelopment committee report. But I have some other things I just want to bring you up to date with what's going on in the ward and in the city. As most of you know, April is Autism Awareness Month, and I'd just like to thank all the people in the city of Linden who decided to light up blue and wear blue, acknowledging that autism is a growing concern, not only in our city, not only in our state, but nationwide. For the rest of the month, I'm just encouraging everybody to keep doing so. That leads me to the next point on my report, the special education camp. Last month, Councilwoman Michelle Yamakaitis and I put together a proposal and presented it to the Linden Board of Education to try to resurrect the special education camp that we've had for so many years. That camp services not only children with autism, but children with any type of special needs who will not typically thrive in a neurotypical camp environment. Hopefully, by the next couple of weeks, we can get flyers out to the classrooms that have these children so we can let the parents know that there is a place in our city, in our camp program, for their children. I'd like to also mention that we had an Easter egg hunt for the first time with the 1st and 3rd Ward. Councilman Brown and I collectively had 75 children that participated in our Easter egg hunt. I'd like to thank the Department of Public Works for coming out and cleaning up the park, making it safe for our children, and also like to thank the Board of Education because they were the ones who enabled us to reach so many children and get those notices in the backpacks so the parents knew that it was going to happen. I'd like to also mention that we have to always think about safety in our community. While Linden is a nice place to live, we have to always remember to be safe. With the growing online community of yard sales and moms on a budget and the vast amount of people that are have more or less little e-commerce type sites, we want to make sure that we keep safety in mind at all times. We had an incident where a young lady had her money stolen while she was attempting to purchase an iPhone. So we just want to make sure that we're using good judgment. Never go to one of these sites alone. Take your parents with you. I also received a phone call for someone in my ward that asked for me to mention something that happened to her and her husband. They're a senior couple, a very beautiful couple. They received a phone call from someone who they thought was their granddaughter. It sounded like their granddaughter. And this person pretty much told them that she was in trouble, she was arrested for a DWI, and asked her grandparents to quickly wire some money to this lawyer to help speed up the process and to help get her pretty much out of jail. Her grandparents believed her. It sounded exactly like their granddaughter. Fast forward, it wasn't the granddaughter. The couple was pretty much swindled out of approximately $1,500 of their money. So once again, just be careful because there are a lot of people out there that really just don't care and will take advantage of you. So if you have to set up some sort of code word, just to make sure that it's legitimate, do so. Take protective measures to make sure that you're not being taken advantage of. I want to speak a little bit about a lot of the trees that are dying in our area. Please feel free to reach out to me. My email is on the website as well as my phone number. We have actually submitted many requests for people who have trees that are dying in front of their houses. The parks also are going to be receiving some attention. Not only Lawson Park, but General Dunn Park, which is located on Rose Parkway and Seymour Avenue, has a lot of dead trees and branches. We are working on those. We know that they need a lot of work, and we are listening. And then just last but not least, I just want to let everyone know that I am available for any questions that you may have in the community. Oh, and just one last thing also. The First Ward is finally going to their automated garbage system with the one-armed bandits. I was just informed today that it's not going to be a portion of the First Ward, but it's going to be the whole entire First Ward. Your recycle and your paper day will still be the same, but please be mindful that a new schedule may come out. And like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My telephone number is 908-370-6482. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Byer?
Yes, Mr. President, I have a report from the Construction Code. The Construction Code Department has issued 192 permits, 110 certificates for the month of March. They generated $69,218 in fees. And that's my report for Construction Code. Speaking of safety, I'm going to pick up where she left off about the internet and Craigslist and Let It Go and things like that, where you have to meet somebody to purchase an item, and you show up with money in your hand, and you go home with no item and no money. You get robbed. It's been going on for a long time. Other towns has designated an area near and around the police department it's called an internet purchase exchange location. There's a sign there, and the area usually is under video surveillance. So if you want to sell anything on Craigslist, I talked to the chief of police today and yesterday, and we are getting a location secured for this such purpose. I'm leaving it up to him to come up with the area, and we're gonna put it out in the media. Linden Police Department has a Facebook page. They're gonna put it out there. So if you want to purchase something, you tell them, I'll meet you at this designated location. If they don't want to show up because they realize it's at the police station and there's a video camera there, then you know right away you weren't going to get what you wanted anyway. So I'll just put that out there. I'm trying to work on safety, and it'd be a great thing. Other towns are doing it, so I want to jump on board. Also with the one-armed bandit, the one-armed garbage truck, it's coming to the First Ward. But it's just trickling into the First Ward. It's going to be picking up on one side of the street of Style Street, Amon Terrace, the 100 block of Linden, the 100 block of Larita, Marion, Bradford, Lexington, and 1 block of West Blanky. And it'll be pick up on Monday. The pickup will be on Monday. I can't read your hand right. Oh. Second word, sorry. The pickup will be Monday, once a week. Recycle will still be on Monday also. They recommend do not put your 2 cans close together because the the truck needs a 3-foot radius around the garbage to pick it up. So don't put your recycling bucket next to your garbage can because it won't be able to grab it. It'll knock the recycling over. It just makes problems. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Brown?
All right. Start with the Third Ward news. For introduction, we have 4 four-way stop signs. So I'm hoping all the council members support that. This is a 4-way stop sign I've been requesting for a while. That's on the corner of East Curtis. What's your street?
Maple.
East Curtis and Maple, and to help reduce some of the accidents there. Also, street paving hopefully will happen soon on East Price Street and on East Blanky to finish that project. And lastly, I've been in discussions with the councilwoman from the First Ward that hopefully sometime in May, we're looking to do a joint project as far as a barbecue/picnic in May at some point. So we'll keep residents posted about that. On to my committee reports. From the Budget Review and Finance Committee, approval is requested for the following finance actions. The payment of bills totaling $1,031,620.53. Bills have been signed by the Mayor, Council President, and Finance Chairman, and a detailed check register and vouchers are in file in the clerk's office. Item number 2, we are in receipts of investments made by the City Treasurer for the month of March at a rate of 0.15%. I move for approval and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Okay. Also, briefly to touch upon some improvements that are going to be happening on Wood Avenue. I know some questions have been asked, and they give a little bit more details of improvements that are happening along Wood Avenue. Some of these improvements, besides the streets, will include trees, tree grates, new crosswalk striping, as well as crosswalks along north and south sides of Wood Avenue. Between Blanket Street and East Elizabeth Avenue, the sidewalks are anticipated to be widened by additional 4 feet on each side. The sidewalk widening is intended to reduce the speed of car traffic, as well as increase pedestrian safety. Also, all pedestrian heads will be upgraded to meet the latest manual of uniform traffic control device standards, and all ramps will be installed to comply with both the Americans with Disabilities Act as well as the public right of way. As funding permits, additional things will include site bench, bike racks, and I don't know if we could do this, but solar panel crosswalks. So that are some of the improvements that will be done on Wood Avenue. I'm also chairman of the Law Committee, and I mention this is because recently, I want to say about last week, we met with the Board of Health, Public Works, and the Construction Code on about enforcing some of the violations that we see in town. No matter where you go, residents are concerned about the maintenance of some of these bank-owned properties and some of these commercial buildings. So we're looking to enforce some of these violations more. I think one ordinance that's on file, thanks to Councilwoman Hickey, was, I believe, increasing the bank fees of some of these bank-owned properties, because we want Linden to look nice, but it now comes down to a matter of enforcement, especially when we have businesses that are not in Linden, that are not doing their due diligence as far as keeping Linden clean. So that's a meeting that we have held, and I just encourage residents, if you've seen bank-owned properties that have issues, to contact either your council person, the mayor's office. We'll take care of it from there, where we will contact either Construction Code or the Board of Health and make sure violations are sent out, as well as making sure those properties are maintained. Lastly, I'm also on the Linden Merchants Committee, which is a committee that hasn't met. I will be coming out with more reports on some of the work that we will be doing. But the first step right now, and I see our LEDC Director, Rich Bichelle, here, is we had a meeting where LEDC, SID, and the Linden Chamber of Commerce were brought together in a room. And the first thing that we noticed is that we have to improve communication with all three organizations, because the idea is that we want to help in encouraging and promote businesses here in Linden, and for residents to buy more from our Linden merchants. And so as months go by, I will explain more of the work that we will be doing. That's it. End of report.
Thank you, Councilman Brown. Councilman Brooks?
Thank you, Council President. Before I start my report with Public Property and Community Services, I'd like to say that we've lost a dear friend in the 4th Ward, a resident of the 4th Ward for most, if not all of his life, Mr. Gerard Watson, who passed away. His father, Mr. James Watson, was the first African-American 4th Ward councilman in the city of Linden. So it's a big loss to a very dear friend of mine. My condolences to the family. Terry, I'm wishing you well. This report also is part of what I read on a monthly basis, and I'm always glad to read it. You know, it always comes from Tyrone Givens, and I enjoy reading it. I hereby submit the monthly financial report for the Division of Transportation and Parking. This report includes a collection of on-street parking meters, railroad parking lots, railroad parking meters, and merchant parking meters for the month of March 2016. New York side collections, $5,273. Trenton side collections, $6,307.25. Credit card transportation, $26,382.49. Parking meter collections, $14,954.15. Railroad permits, $38,240. Grand total, $91,156.89. For those of you who've been riding by, you know, if you're looking at the Linden Multipurpose Center, you may have seen some repairs going on the roof. You know, pleased to say that repairs are in fact being done there. They had to repair the heating and air conditioning units before they repaired the roof itself. So there are some leaks there. That is all being repaired. So when you see people on the roof, those repairs are very, very positive things. Took a lot of hard work and a lot of thank you from all of those departments involved in assisting me in getting that work done. So again, let's repair the leaks. I know that there were times during the course of the winter that we had to close the facility because it was so cold there. Hopefully this will resolve all of those issues and we'll be able to enjoy the Linden Multipurpose Center for what it was intended to do year-round. And so speaking, as a result of a retirement, we had a gentleman retire, Mr. Gary Luciano retired as supervisor. We have a spot open as a supervisor, but let me qualify that. We are talking about the supervisor and that position being posted, okay, for anyone to apply for that position. We're going to do that as expeditiously as possible. But in the interim, the time between now and the time that we get that person, we've brought somebody on board for the day-to-day operations to assist, and that is a gentleman from Linden High School, somebody that I'm also awfully excited about. He's a graduate of Kane University with a degree in recreation. His name is Rooks Crawford. I coached him in both football and basketball, so I'm really excited about having him there, and hopefully we can continue to do the kinds of things that we need to do to make improvements at the Linden Multipurpose Center. That's in the facility as well as in its day-to-day operation. No, Council President, I am known for forgetting things and asking you to come back and but the excitement that I have is unbelievable. I thought I couldn't be more excited than when I went to the live burn at the fire department where I'm dangling up 50 foot up in a basket. And he looked at me like I was crazy because I really enjoyed it. But this one, I'm looking May to be on board the USS Baton, leaving out of Norfolk, Virginia. I'll be going from Linden to Norfolk, Virginia, boarding the ship for Fleet Week, for the ship to arrive in New York City during Fleet Week. So all of those guys, those Navy guys that you see in those pressed white uniforms, I won't be one of them. But I'll be the guy that you'll see standing there saying, I am from Linden and I'm from the 4th Ward and this is great. So it's 3 days. Again, I'm looking to go down to Norfolk, Virginia with our ROTC students, the cadets that are there, and staff. We'll all be together. We're going to ride down together to Norfolk, Virginia, board the ship, and I'm going to cruise from Norfolk, Virginia to New York City, be there for Fleet Week. Look for me. Again, I'll be the guy waving at you. You can't miss me. I'm too big to miss, so just say hi to me on the TV. I'm absolutely loving it. Also, when we talked about repairs and scams, they're not just scams, the kind that are on the internet. We still have the driveway scams. We have people who will be coming around looking to repair your driveway. You know, putting some blacktop down and telling you, we've had 2 or 3 people that have already been victimized by that. So be aware of people coming around talking about repairing your driveway, especially when they enter your home. We had 2 people who they allowed to enter their home and they left with not only money, but other possessions as well as threats. So everybody, please, you know, we all think that it cannot happen to us. It could. So please be aware of people coming around offering you services now that the weather is broken to repair either your roof, you know, to clean your leaders and gutters, your driveways. Please be particularly careful as the weather breaks for people coming around and using those kinds of scams. So it's not just the internet. Obviously, be aware of the internet, but be aware of those day-to-day kinds of things that we tend to overlook when people just approach us. So please be aware of that as well. We also have, I'm excited about upcoming repairs to Dr. Martin Luther King Park. We do have a grant that I talked about earlier on, that's been approved. It's a matching grant, and we're looking to do a complete renovation of Dr. King Park. So please, keep your eye open for that as well. It's $170,000 for the complete renovation of Dr. Martin Luther King Park. So please, guys, keep your eyes open. That's a park that I played in as a kid. I learned how to play there, and my mother got mad at me for getting sweaty every day, but I enjoyed every minute of it, and it annoys me to no end when I go by the park and we don't have people balling out there. This is where I come from, this is what I love to see, and I hope to keep that park going and enjoy it. Also, several calls on trees and tree repairs and tree removals, and I say it all the time, I cannot say enough for that gentleman that's sitting over there. He knows who I'm talking about, who I call all the time and say, you know, I text him and say, see, you gotta learn how to text, because as a basketball coach, our kids don't answer the phone, so you have to text. So that's one of the things I do really well. So I text him all the time and say, listen, you know, we gotta get this repaired, and never once does he text me back and say, no. He texted me back and said, you know, talk to this customer, let's make sure that we can, this resident, let's make sure that we can do this, we can do it in a timely fashion. It never fails that it gets done. Frank, over there, I appreciate all the help that you give me. And Council President, I probably have forgotten something, but I'm so excited about the trip, I'm just going to go with it. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Councilman Brooks. I'm a little bit jealous that you're going to be on an aircraft carrier all the way from Norfolk to New York City. So I made a couple of phone calls to a few friends of mine. I told them you wanted the full Navy experience. They'll put you to work there.
There you go.
Councilwoman Cosby Hurley?
Thank you, Council President. Before we get into the business, last month we did Women's History Month, and one of the honorees was unfortunately absent, and she was in France, actually. So she's here this evening, and we'd like to, myself and Councilman Brooks, who's her councilman, would like to ask Miss Raquel Strickland to please come forward so that we can present you with the city resolution as well as a joint resolution from the state legislature.
You're the young lady that wrote a book, right? 2 books? How old are you? Oh, sorry.
Okay.
You have my son in school, right? You have my son as a teacher?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell him.
Yeah. All right.
So good evening. Thank you for coming, and thank your family, your lovely mother, your grandmother, and your extended family, and your beautiful sister. I see you. So we didn't want to miss the opportunity to recognize this young lady because Women's History Month we started doing a few years ago. And it's important for me that we recognize not only the Rosie the Riveter, who we recognized last month, but also our young women who are examples to the young women who are coming under them. So she's a high school senior, preparing to graduate. The list goes on about her accomplishments in high school: International Baccalaureate, Honor Society, your French exchange student. What else? French National Honor Society. What else?
National Honor Society.
National Honor Society.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
She's a literary genius. She's written 2 novels and self-published them. She's adorable.
Thanks.
Okay. So I just wanted to acknowledge you and encourage you to continue what you're doing. And your councilman's going to read the resolution from the city, but mine's is shorter because it's bigger. So I'm going to read this one from our state senator, Nicholas Scutari, and Assemblyman Jerry Green, and Assemblyman Kennedy, Jim Kennedy. Whereas the month of March, and I get it, it's April again, she was away last month, has been set aside nationally to recognize the outstanding contributions of women to history. And whereas the Senate and General Assembly of the state of New Jersey are pleased to honor and salute Raquel Strickland, a highly admired young resident of the city of Linden, Union County, in recognition of her many outstanding achievements. Raquel Strickland has demonstrated a superb talent and remarkable creativity as a fantasy writer for the past 7 years, and she has lent her skills and insight as a contributing writer and reporter for Love Girls magazine, for which she was interviewed many prominent celebrities. And whereas, in addition, Raquel Strickland has made significant efforts writing insightful articles for Just Us Kids magazine, and she publishes an exciting and extraordinary short story blog at lurkingpassions.blogspot.com. And whereas, since the beginning of time, women have proven themselves from the farms to the cities and from inside the factories to the offices of government, to the active and dedicated workers and leaders who continue to make strides in all areas of life and in all fields of endeavors. And whereas, in addition, America's women have been devoted in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, as well as within the abolitions, emancipation, industrial labor, civil rights, and peace movements in the continuing suffrage for more fair and just society. And whereas it is altogether fitting and appropriate for the New Jersey legislature to salute these daughters, mothers, sisters, and wives whose considerable accomplishments in the home and in the workforce have benefited all Americans and have helped to improve the quality of life throughout this state and nation. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate and General Assembly of the State of New Jersey that this legislature hereby recognizes March 2016 as Women's History Month, salutes Raquel Strickland for her exemplary commitment and noteworthy achievements, and encourages all citizens of this state to study and learn about the important roles that women have played in the history of our state and nation. Be it further resolved that a duly authenticated copy of this resolution signed by the Senate and Assembly Speaker and attested to by the Senate Secretary and Assembly Clerk be transmitted to Raquel Strickland. And this is it here for you, my dear. Congratulations. Well, fancy book. Little mama. Good job. Now, Councilman Brooks is going to read the city resolution. Councilman Brooks is going to read the city resolution, but I want to say also, this is the most women that have ever sat on council, ever. So I'm just going to say it's kind of like, I don't know, almost. Go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you. I was just asked, if I could top that one. And I don't have to. I'm just standing here, so I can just go bask in the glow of all of the things that you've done. It makes me feel smart, and I better not make a mistake here, right? Resolution honoring Raquel Strickland during Women's Month 2016. Whereas American women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our nation in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. Whereas American women have played and continue to play a critical economic, cultural, and social role in every sphere of the life of the nation by constituting a significant portion of the labor force working inside and outside of the home. Whereas American women have played a unique role throughout the history of the nation by providing the majority of the volunteer labor force of the nation. Whereas American women of every race, class, and ethnic background served as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive social change movement. Whereas American women have been leaders not only in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in the abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and other movements, especially the peace movement, which create a more fair and just society for all. And whereas despite these contributions, the role of American women in history has been consistently overlooked and undervalued in the literature, teaching, and study of American history. And whereas Raquel Strickland, a 17-year-old Linden resident, is one such individual who, despite her young age, has already established herself as a writer, role model. And whereas Raquel is a contributing writer, reporter to Love Girls magazine and Just Us Kids, who has interviewed such noted individuals as Soledad O'Brien, Michelle Williams, Kelly Rowland, and Destiny's Child. And whereas Raquel Strickland is currently an honor student who is also learning French and Korean. And whereas the mayor and city council wish to recognize the many accomplishments of Raquel Strickland during Women's History Month 2016, now therefore be it resolved that the mayor, the council of the city of Linden, And they do hereby congratulate Raquel Strickland on her many accomplishments during the early stage of her life and recognize her as a woman of achievement during Women's History Month 2016. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be placed in the minutes of the City Council of the City of Linden, recognizing in perpetuity the accomplishments of Raquel Strickland, and a copy be fittingly presented to her. Wait, I took a picture with you. Got it? Congratulations.
Say a couple of words, Raquel. Just encourage the younger girls.
Come on.
First, I would like to thank the council members and Shauna Cosby, yes. Oh, I would like to thank everyone, especially for this. This is really, thank you. I would like to encourage all young women to just strive to be better and, strive to be their best, I guess. That's it, yes. Yeah.
She's pretending to be shy. Read her book. That's all I'm going to say, okay? Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Tell them Councilman Brown is going to order 2 books from you. Give him the titles and tell him where he can get it.
Fatal Illusions and Lurking Passion on Amazon.com. Yeah. That's it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
While I'm down here, I do have an active member of the Linden High School PTA who is working very, very hard on the bash this year. So we actually are going to choose a winner from a raffle. I purchased a couple of tickets for their fundraiser, which is this Saturday, the Turkey Tray. So Sandy's going to choose the winner who entered the contest. You didn't enter.
I can, I'm on the board.
The other side.
Oh, Sherry Tamarino.
Let me see. She's not in here, I'm sure. Sherry, you are the winner. I'm going to email Sherry, and then I'll get her tickets to her. Thank you, Sandy. And I'll see you guys Saturday at the Turkey Tray. The doors open at 5. The drawings begin at 7. He asked me if I was finished. I'm just getting started. Okay. Thank you guys for your patience during that. We do have a personnel report, but I'm going to do the 5th Ward report quickly. On the agenda tonight, we have 3 additional speed humps that will be going in the 5th Ward on Dill Avenue. Yay. We're going to have slower traffic in the area of our senior and disabled complex, as well as School 4 and the 5th Ward Park. So I'm grateful that we have this finally coming. It took a long time. And I want to thank Councilman Medina for helping me bring this back to the forefront, because it is so very important that we slow down our speeding traffic. We have, oh, you all right? We have in the 5th Ward also some street paving that's going to be done. We're looking at Cranford. I know it's an odd year. Usually we do even in odds, but we're looking at the safety on Cranford Avenue, and that affects the 5th and the 8th Ward because the street is really, really ripped up. So I'm putting in a request, hopefully, with the extra funding that we got a memo on, that we can get a portion, city engineer, of Cranford at least, looked at, because what the water company or the utility company is doing now, what they're going to repave is nowhere near what needs to be paved, and I get it, that it's not our year, but it's important for safety of the residents there that we look at getting that done. If anybody wants to have a spring tree planted, give me a call, 908-718-7933. I'm going to have, well, he's not here anymore, he left, the Shade Tree Commissioner, Mr. Tandle, and I will go out again. We're going to visit the areas to make sure that it's, an area that we can get a tree, and we'll plant the trees where the residents want them. The chair yoga program, I just wanted to mention that We're doing Wellness Wednesdays, and for the last several Wednesdays, we've been at school number 4, and we're doing chair yoga. The idea or the intent was to bring to the community an opportunity to reduce stress. So the health department came, we did blood pressure checks, we have literature on that, and the chair yoga is a very low impact activity that I'm sponsoring for the community just to calm and reduce the stress. And we've had participants from the 4th Ward, from the 5th Ward, and it's a good program. We have 3 weeks left. If anybody's interested, feel free to give me a call. I'll add you to the list. We'll make sure that we have a chair for you. We have the Hooked on Fishing, Not on Drugs program. I just wanted everyone to please mark your calendars for June 11th. The Linden team, Hooked on Fishing, Not on Drugs, will have a youth fishing challenge. It's a free fishing day, and the parents can fish. They don't need a license. Anyone can fish that day. And we're hoping to have a good turnout right here in Linden at Wilson Pond, because our pond is not being utilized. And so the idea is that we'll bring the children out, we'll get them away from the video games and the televisions, and we'll do something. Fishing is a good activity. It helps the children to develop patience. It's also a sport. So if kids don't play basketball, football, or something else, this is an opportunity for them to get exposure to something else. I think that's all I'm going to bore you with right now. We do have a personnel report, which there should be some in the front if anybody has any questions about the personnel report before I start. But this year I am the chairperson of the personnel committee, and what that simply means is that I get an opportunity to build an agenda. I've been on the committee for 4 years. This year I get to build the agenda. This year we're doing, I don't know if you guys remember, we had the first employee of the year, which was Ms. Jennifer Honan, our deputy clerk. This year we're doing the same initiative. However, we are, with the committee's input, looking at peer-to-peer employee recognition in all of the departments. So that's an initiative that our committee is doing this year. We also initiated training, computer training for these staff so that they can enhance their skills, and some people develop the skills and others can just build on the skills that they have in the Microsoft suite, also with some proprietary software that we have for our DPW department. So our goal is to make our employees more efficient and comfortable with their job, because if we're expecting to hold them accountable, then we need to make sure that they understand what's expected and that they are taught to do their jobs. One more thing that we're going to be doing also, I spoke to Mrs. Zach, who's in charge of personnel. When it comes to training, we're going to do other training too in the vein of de-stressing. We're going to look to offer through our insurance commission workplace stress relievers, little workshops, and people can go and they can do stress relievers and things like that through the insurance commission, because a lot of people are frustrated. They work 8 hours a day and don't leave from their desk. So the idea is to de-stress, get away from the computer, maybe go outside, maybe go do some yoga or something else while you're at work, just to break up the day and also refresh yourself. Because I know a lot of times, I'm working, I'm doing this, and people don't leave their desk. So that's just another initiative that we're looking for. The personnel report. I'm going to read it, and then we're going to do one motion. From the Personnel Division, the approval for the following Family Medical Leave Act and New Jersey FLA request. Employee 90971 intermittent FMLA from January 1st, 16 until June 30th, 16. Employee 909207 intermittent FMLA from March 31st, 16 until April 28th, 16. The hiring of the following seasonal laborers in the Division of Public Works at the hourly rate of $10 effective April 20th, subject to successful completion of the city's pre-employment requirements. Don Barwick and Alexander De Silva. Number 3, the following names were submitted as seasonal for the Recreation Division program, subject to successful completion of the city's pre-employment requirements. Eric Doss, Recreation, April 19th, 2016 until September 30th, 16. Alan Hay, the wrestling coach, April 19th, 16 until September 30th, 16. Gregory Parker, Recreation Leader, April 19th, 2016 until September 30th, 2016. John Verstick, lights operator. Did I mispronounce it? Did I? The lights operator from April 19th until September 30th, 2016. Number 4, the change in status for part-time to full-time for Brooks Crawford to the full-time position of recreation leader to work at the Linden Multipurpose Center from noon to 8 at the starting salary of $35,000 effective April 20th, 2016. In the police department, permission given to the police chief to start background checks to hire 8 police officers at the July Academy. Accepting the memo of understanding for the operating engineers 825 and the city of Linden for various work needed to be performed as required under the New Jersey DEP Administrative Consent Order. The operating engineers will be hired as temporary seasonal help when they are needed. So I'm going to move this report and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
I'm going to abstain on number 3 and number 1 and vote yes to the rest.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
The last thing I wanted to mention was that on Hustler Street, I know that there's a overgrowth and it's been identified, and we know that it needs to be cleaned out. So we are planning to get a crew over there as soon as possible, since the weather is a little warmer now, to try and clear that out, because we know that it contributes to the flooding. So you have not been forgotten on Hustler Street, and also, just a reminder, the freeholders are going to give funding to help improve that bridge there also, and that should be done hopefully, I believe it was June 2017 for that. And that concludes my report, except for look for the new fancy new dogs at IOZ Park to keep the geese away. They're very, 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 very effective, and I'm just glad that we're continuing with the geese control there, because, you know, people don't want to walk over the goose poop when they're walking the path and things like that. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Sadowski?
Good evening, everyone. Mine is a little bit shorter, so don't worry. Okay, this is from the Office of the City Clerk. The following licenses, permits, and transcripts issued in the City Clerk's office during the month of March 2016, and the fees received have been turned over to the Municipal Treasurer of the City of Linden. There was 138 birth, death, and marriage transcripts. City revenue was $2,000, state was nothing. 20 marriage and civil union licenses. The city received $60, excuse me, and the state $500. Domestic partnerships, there was none this month. There were 2 miscellaneous revenues. The city received $11.25. There were 6 bingo and raffle permits given. City received $120. There was 218 EDRS vital statistics. The city received $3,315. 1 burial permit, $5. Interest earned on the money was $52. So the total for this month for the city was $5,581.77. For the state was $500. That's the first one. This is from the Office of the License Inspectors. It says the city clerk's licensing division is submitting this monthly report for the month of March 2016. The office issued 6 dog licenses and 129 miscellaneous licenses and collected $10,248. One more. Same thing from the licensing department. The city of Linden is advising residents that all dogs 6 months and older are required to be licensed. To license a dog, written proof of valid rabies vaccination is required. This license can be obtained in the city clerk's office, Wood Avenue, Monday through Fridays from 9 to 5 p.m. The fees are $10 for spayed or neutered dogs. Written proof is also required, and $13 for unspayed and unneutered dogs. If you have any questions, please contact the city clerk's license division up at City Hall. Okay, that takes care of the city business. Okay, with the 6th Ward, just a couple of things. It seems this last month that the fire department, well, they do have the firehouse there within the ward all the time. We had 3 fires this last month in the 6th Ward. None of them were serious. Actually, one was on my block and 2 on Wood Avenue. So we saw them quite often. I've been getting calls for special pickups. Remember, we have the regular day, I think we get 3 a year. When you call me, I will call the DPW. It is up to them if they have time and so on to pick it up. I don't make the decision. Emma Place, we just finished resurfacing it. On Wood Avenue, just got a call before I came, Woodlawn, excuse me, down at the end by the cemetery. It must have been at least 20 residents want to thank me and thank the DPW for the job they just finished. So I said I would tell the people that. Also opening up within the next, I guess, couple of weeks, in the 6th Ward, we have the commercial laundry at Pleasant Avenue, Unitex. We have a Blue Apron food place on Linden Avenue. And just today, I believe, the catastrophe on Pleasant and the highway with the ruts and the holes, using the city and the county, they have started a mill today and will be resurfacing it. So it was a long struggle, but combination of the county and the city, we will get it done. Last thing, this is for the people on West Stimson Avenue. They were calling me up about speeders and parking and so on. So as of the next couple of days, we will have speeding boards. The police will set up speeding boards to check your times. Also, we are checking in, it takes a while, on whether we have 2-hour permit parking there. We did have it a couple of years ago, and then the people reneged on it, and we took it back down. So the police are looking into that, but that'll take a couple of months. And the last thing is, just like we said, the weather is nice. Please be careful when you're outside, because you can never tell. Once again, thank you, and have a good spring coming up. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Strano?
Thank you, Council President. First item that I have up on my little report is tonight we're going to be entering into an interlocal agreement between the City of Linden and the Union County Bureau of Traffic Control. And this is for the manufacture and installation of oversized truck route signs in order to direct trucks that are trying to find the Trimley Point addresses that are at the terminus of Southwood Avenue. This agreement also includes renewing the pavement markings on South Style Street and on Lower Road. The area of South Style Street that really needs it is at the intersection of Route 1, where the Aviation Plaza is located in front of the Burger King. On the DPW side, they've been actively addressing the potholes remaining throughout the city, and they're also starting to catch up with the tree requests, which were delayed simply for the fact that we had a lack of manpower. We had a couple of gentlemen that were out with surgeries that are now back in the fold, and we should be moving forward, catching up with that shortly. And from the engineering committee, bollards, I understand I got the email that they were ordered. Bollards meaning concrete-filled steel pipes that you'll see sometimes protecting essential equipment. They also are used to keep tractor trailers and trucks from jumping curbs and, damaging our light stanchions for overhead traffic signals, et cetera. They're going to be installed at that corner of Trimley Point Road. They're going to be installed by our DPW department sometime in the next week, I believe, is when we're going to try to schedule that. And last but not least, I'm going to defer to Fire Chief Dooley, who will give us an update on the quiet zone application for the railroad crossing on Lower Road, right there in front of DPW. Chief, please.
Thank you, Councilman. Receipt of Vermonton and Vernick's monthly report to us regarding the progress on the quiet zone. They are in discussions now with Conrail and the New Jersey DOT. We just have to get through some paperwork process with both entities. We have an estimated construction cost to add what improvements we need. Most of this money will come from a grant from Phillips 66. And so at this point, we're just waiting for the DOT to give this the official authorization document so we can move it forward. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Chief. It's the end of my report, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Yamakitis?
Thank you, Council President. From the Fire Committee, the Fire Prevention Bureau collected a total of $4,111.47 for the month of March 2016. The Fire Department ambulance collected a total of $55,451.32 for the month of March, adding to a total deposits to date for 2016 of $150,442.83. On April 16th, the Linden Fire Department, in conjunction with the American Red Cross, held a home fire safety campaigns in parts of the 5th and 8th wards. The Red Cross went door-to-door canvassing these wards, informing residents of the free smoke detector install being offered. This was the third install day held here in Linden. The smoke detectors were installed by off-duty members from Linden's FMBA Locals 34 and 234. The free detectors were donated through a Red Cross home fire safety campaign. The free detectors being installed are sealed units with a 10-year battery, ensuring that the detector is operational for years to come. The day was a huge success. 112 detectors in 54 homes were installed, 720 homes were canvassed, bringing a total for this campaign of 300 detectors installed in Linden in over 150 homes, with close to 2,000 homes canvassed in Linden. I want to give a special thank you to FMBA Local 34 and 234, the Red Cross, and all their volunteers, and I would be remiss if I did not thank the Linden ROTC cadets and their instructors who volunteered their Saturday, not only this safety campaign, but many others throughout the city. If residents were not home or missed a canvassing, or you live in a different ward and would like a free detector installed in your home, you could call the Linden Fire Prevention Bureau at 908-474-4560 to set up a date for the installation. Speaking of the ROTC, I wanted to make mention, Councilman Brooks had mentioned about the Memorial Day weekend, Fleet Week. Okay, each year in conjunction with Memorial Day weekend, the United States Navy sends these fleets of ships to New York City for Fleet Week. This year, Linden has the opportunity for their ROTC cadets to go, along with their instructor Mark Velez, Councilman Monty Brooks, as well as the 5 cadets. But I wanted to make mention, we have someone else here, another city employee that always goes above and beyond. She's probably going to kill me for this. She's one of our dispatchers, but she's going to be honored to go for all she does for the ROTC. She's a band mom, PTA. She's involved with Sandy. Can you please stand up? She's chairman of our bash for this year. So she will be on a ship before her son, who's in, yes, so Kurt, Mom beat you to it, okay? So I just want to make mention also, on Saturday, April 30th, the ROCC will be having a flapjack fundraiser for, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at Aviation Plaza Applebee's. Tickets are available at the door for $10. So please, the cadets do so much for the city of Linden. Please come out and have breakfast and support them. They always support everyone else. From the Board of Health, let me just get that. The Board of Health is announcing they're going to have the annual free anti-rabies vaccination program on the following dates. In the afternoon from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. on May 9th, which is a Monday, at the Firehouse on the corner of East Elizabeth and Chandler Avenue. On May 11th, which is a Wednesday, at the Firehouse located at West St. George Avenue and DeWitt Terrace. And in the evening, they're going to have a 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. date from May 18th at Firehouse at 302 Southwood Avenue. Residents can bring cats and dogs. If you have any questions, please call the Health Department at 908-474-8409. For the ward report, on tonight's agenda, we have a resolution number 26, which is referring the Park Plastic site for a redevelopment plan back to the planning board for review and comment. I just want to make mention, we discussed this at my community meeting held last week. I want to thank Mayor Armstead and our LEDC director, Rich Buchel, for really pushing this project. It's an eyesore in the neighborhood. It needs to be remedied already. But I want to thank them for all their efforts. Finally, we're seeing a timetable being established for this project. Something needs to be done, so I just want to say thank you to them. Also, I have some other good news. Linden Avenue is scheduled to be repaved. That's from South Park Avenue up to the train bridge by Cheeks. They're scheduled to be paved on May 2nd, weather permitting. And the other streets in the 8th Ward that are going to be paved for 2016 are Chandler Avenue is finally going to be finished from East Blanky to Elizabeth Avenue, Peter Street from Henry to Passaic, St. Mark Street from Elizabeth to Essex, Ashton Avenue from Linden to Urbanowitz, and McCandless Place from Route 1 and 9 to Greer Avenue. Currently, we have the Elizabethtown Gas and the Water Company working in the 8th Ward, and many of our streets are being torn up, so we are going to be mindful of making sure that we're not paving streets that are going to get torn up soon. I also, as I mentioned at my community meeting, if anybody has any issues regarding some of the construction going on, please give me a call. I have some contact numbers. They are not done. They're going to have to rip up the streets again, because some people were telling me it's sinking where they patched already. It's going to be ripped up again. That's not the final. But all these streets are going to have to be readdressed. Park Avenue, they started last Saturday. I know we just got in some grant money. I'm going to request the other piece of Park Avenue, which is a major thoroughfare coming in and out of the city between 1 and 9 and Greer. It really going to need to be addressed. So I will keep you informed on that. And finally, I just want to mention that this Monday, April 25th, I'm hosting a presentation at the Gregorio Center by the group Moms Demand Action for Gun Safety. The program will be regarding safety with guns in the homes and schools. This is a very informative presentation for parents, grandparents, educators, any type of caregivers. And I invite anyone who wants safer homes and schools to please come. They're going to talk about some of the legislation that's being presented. So we need some support. We need safe schools, keep our kids safe. So the one thing is we ask that the program is intended for adults, so please no children. It's going to be held once again at the Gregorio Center, 330 Helen Street on April 25th at 6:30 p.m. If anybody needs any further information on this, or if I can give you any assistance, please give me a call. My number is 908-925-2309. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Medina?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. I do have a Technology Committee report and also a library report, but I'll start with the library report. Hopefully I don't get lost because I got it all in text messages. Movies are on a regular basis at the library. If you'd like to find more information on show times and dates, you could always visit the Linden Library website and also the circulation desk for all that information. Also, they have a jazz night on April 27th, 7 p.m. It's the Linden High School Jazz Ensemble and Grammy. So actually, I got that reversed, so I apologize for that. But any information that you need for all the events at the Linden Library, again, you could find that information at the circulation desk or the Linden Library website that was recently, what you want to call it, renovated. So it's a newly improved website, easier to navigate. Again, the site will change with suggestions, but I encourage everyone to please visit our library. It's a beautiful library, and attend some of these events. They're geared towards children to participate with our library and whatnot, and I think it's great for families to go out there and just visit the library. For the Technology Committee, Councilman Brown mentioned earlier in our budget presentation some monies in a resolution to help improve our camera system. You'll see on resolution number 182, we are investing into the infrastructure of the city of Linden by not only installing, but also upgrading our current camera system throughout our city and all of our facilities. We're also installing cameras in certain locations throughout the city, especially the train station, which is a big, important piece of infrastructure for the city. So we look forward to seeing this project take fruition. It's an exciting project. I know this project was started by Councilman Brown and the mayor, and there will be 2 phases to this project. So again, the Technology Committee is excited, the council is excited, and it will provide a necessary tool to our police department to combat and identify suspects when an incident occurs, and also deters crime as well. So be on the lookout for that big improvement through our city. I have a few items here for the 9th Ward. As you heard earlier, my counterpart, our Councilwoman Jamakaitis, mentioned the gas companies out there installing and upgrading their infrastructure. We actually had a great meeting. They have been cooperative with the city and the residents, so everything is going well. And we are trying to stay away from streets that they're going to rip up before paving them. But we do have an agreement with the gas company and the contractor. If any streets have been paved within the last 3 years, they will be paved curb to curb. So I know that's an issue and a question that actually came up before. So we had a lot of streets done in the 9th Ward last year, and unfortunately they were ripped up to improve the infrastructure of the gas lines. And again, it's a much needed infrastructure improvement. Also, Paul Workmeister Park, formerly known as Sunnyside Park, which is between Orchard and Summit Terrace and also Melrose and Edgewood. The sidewalks are in terrible shape, but we're really close to landing a deal to get all the sidewalks replaced around that park. If you go there and you visit the park, especially on the Summit Terrace side, there's no concrete left. It's down to the dirt. So I'm pushing to get that completed. Hopefully DPW and engineering and the contractor will come to an understanding, and we'll get those sidewalks repaired. Because again, we do have a lot of families, a lot of children that utilize the park, and we don't want them to fall and get hurt while they're walking up and down our sidewalks. Also, road safety. It's getting warm. Several of my colleagues mentioned it, but it is getting warm. So that means people drive a little bit faster for some odd reason. I guess the music is blasting, the wind is hitting them in the face, they got the sunroof open, but you have to be a little bit careful around the summertime. Again, we have a lot more kids out there playing, riding their bikes, families with strollers, et cetera, and et cetera. So we have to be mindful when we hit our streets throughout the state of New Jersey or wherever you travel. Just slow down, leave a little bit earlier, and just be mindful of the pedestrian. And also be mindful of motorcycles. We do get a lot of those in the summer. It's getting warmer, so They're a little bit difficult to see and spot in certain areas, so just be mindful of motorcycles as well. Also, myself and Councilwoman Hickey will be hosting a community meeting May 18th at 6:30 p.m. at the Linden Presbyterian Church, is located at 1506 Orchard Terrace. We will also have the budget presentation as well for some of the folks that don't watch this council meeting. I asked Councilman Brown to join us and present that evening, so we look forward to seeing everyone there to discuss not only the budget and other issues through our community. Everyone is welcome, doesn't matter where you live in the city of Linden. If you would like to attend, please mark that on your calendar. We'd love to have you there. Also, I mentioned this before, I'm still working on my newsletter. It's a little bit difficult. My goal is to get it out in May. I will have picnics and events throughout the ward like I've done in the past, so keep an eye out for that newsletter. If you would like to be added to my email distribution, please shoot me an email or text me. My email is amadina@linden-nj.org, or you can shoot me a text at 908-986-6100, and I would love to add you to that email distribution. It's great information. It has everything that is going on in the 9th Ward and throughout the city. I think is productive information, and it's always good to stay informed of what's going on in your community and throughout your city. Again, feel free to give me a call with any issues. I'm always here to help. Any issues that come across my desk will be handled with the appropriate department, and I always do a lot of follow-ups. Unfortunately, in government, a lot of time things do take a little bit long to get resolved, but when you call me, it will be handled, and you will get a response. With that being said, I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. I did miss something here, just real brief. The Whitten-Raritan Road, spoke with the county, had a meeting with them. If anyone's familiar with that intersection, a lot of people should be. We're having those lights upgraded. We're going to replace those LED lights and remove those louvers that is causing a lot of confusion. People run that intersection all the time because they can't see the red light. Also, the county will be installing, or should I say painting, a temporary left turn lane on the DeWitt side and a temporary right turn lane on the DeWitt side in Linden. So that way cars can get on the left side, make a left, or you can get on the right side and make a right. And that will hopefully alleviate a lot of the congestion there, and the timing will be addressed as well. So with that being said, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Medina. Councilman Hickey, I'm going to ask you to bring a little upbeat on your report. A lot of us are falling asleep here.
Oh, okay.
Not you.
Thanks, Council President. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for coming here tonight. First, I want to just step off by saying, and I think it will be passing tonight in our resolution section of our meeting, our MOUs for all of our unions. It's been a long haul, but after tonight, I'm hoping that every single union has been settled, and we will start renegotiating next year and get an early start on it. I want to thank all the employees. I know we can't make everyone happy. We did really try our best. Thank you so much to the CFO, Alexis Zak, and her finance office. I've learned so much, and they were so helpful through everything. And also our labor relations attorney, who everyone loves to hate, but he really was by my side, and he really helped me through everything. And I can't thank everyone enough, and the employees. And it'll be a good thing. We'll get a head start on things next year. Last week, I had the privilege of being invited to the Stamler Police Academy, John Stamler Police Academy, for a simulation firearms training. What it did is it puts you in the position you had a fake gun that was powered by air, a big screen, and it puts you in the position of being a police officer and making that split-second decision. It was an amazing exercise performed by a few other officials from around the county, and I just want to thank the prosecutor's office and Prosecutor Grace Parks for the experience. As Councilman Medina expressed on Wednesday, May 18th, the 9th and 10th Ward will be having a community meeting with a budget presentation. Everyone, of course, is always welcome, and that will be at 6:30. Over spring break, I received some complaints about School 9 and all the garbage all around it. I made calls to public property, and garbage cans are on order to put around there. Please advise your kids that are all playing at the park to just try and pick up after themselves. I do have a 14-year-old and understand that really doesn't help so much, but you know, if you can work on that, it would be great. Trees, I know I'm still getting a million calls for trees. I know our fabulous DPW workers are on it. I text them often every day as the phone calls fly in. We did not forget about Morristown, Elmwood, Amherst. We are getting there. We're just one ward. We have to make sure we share amongst everybody. They've been taking turns in different sections of town by priority, but I assure you that they are getting there. I think when I started on council, I had an 8-year list of trees that I'm trying to get DPW to do in about, 3 months. Let's see. OEM, Office of Emergency Management. On Saturday, we had a CPR course to get all of our members certified in CPR. It was a nice morning, and I'd like to thank a couple police officers from the Linden Police Department who did a great job in training them. I think it's very important for us to have Office of Emergency Management. We all forget very quickly, what happened during Superstorm Sandy and other issues that could happen tomorrow. And it's always a priority of mine to represent them and to make sure that they have great training. If anyone is interested in being a member of OEM, you do need to pass a background check. Please contact the Chief of Police Office. He will be happy to assist you and get you the forms and do that background check. Princeton Road, it was on plans to be paved this year. However, the gas company is going to be working on it. I believe, I can't be sure, Mr. Verchek, maybe I think next year. So we are not going to pave that road. We will do the best we can to keep patching the potholes. I also have radar being performed on that street, and I've contacted Clark Police as well for the borders because we have a lot of speeders flying through everywhere. And now with the warm weather coming, it's bothersome. I almost hate to pave the roads because at least that'll slow some people down a little. So, but I do have to get some of them paid. Tonight, I did vote no for the SID budget. I've attended the past couple months at the SID meeting. I do feel at moments I was rudely addressed there. I believe in the merchants and having their own business. Councilman Brown, over the past couple months, I've discussed my concerns with him, and I know he has been moving forward. I was happy to hear about the merchant committee that he has performed, I believe, with the LEDC director, Rich Puchel, and Mr. Brown. They can really get things up and running, but I do feel that the money that has been appropriated to SID is not in the best interest of the businesses on Wood Avenue, and I couldn't consciously vote yes for that. Linden High School Trick or Treat is this Saturday night. If anyone is interested in attending, McManus Middle School is having a clothing drive on April 30th. So along with myself, everybody clean out your closets. They accept everything. This is a great fundraiser for the school, and I'll be posting more on Facebook. I was happy to, let's see, contracts I said, I'm sorry. Emily Artley, she's a resident of the 2nd Ward. Recently, she just finished boot camp for the Navy. She just started in Chicago to pursue her career as an engineer. It's a dear friend of my family, and I'm just wishing her the best of luck, and I can't believe the courage that some of these young students have. She attended the ROTC program through Linden High School, and it's just a great opportunity for all of them. Right before my last thing, I just have an instance that happened to me today that I think is important to express. I just came home from the grocery store. I received a message that somebody called our Public Works Department and said that, do you cut the lawns of city residents now? And they said no, and the supervisor said to them, well, why is Gretchen Hickey getting her lawn cut? Well, let me just give you a little piece of advice. Who likes to bring drama to the table all the time, and I have a feeling I know who it is. My husband works from home, his weed whacker broke, and my brother, who drives a white Cherokee, which was assumed to be a city vehicle, was helping my husband weed whack the front lawn. You know, it's very hard for everybody on council. We're all so judged and watched after, and you know, we always have these few pot stirrers who like to cause some trouble for everyone. I'm gonna have to tell my husband to start cutting the lawn, I guess, at nighttime, so you know, maybe nobody could see him. So I think it's an important point to put out, because it's happening to everyone. This resident has obviously wasted time down at DPW with the supervisor. She was rude to the DPW, and then she wastes my time worrying, calling my brothers, saying to my husband, who was over, what cars, you know, it's crazy. Because I don't want anybody in my ward to ever think that I would do something like that. I'm afraid to get my street plowed, that they say I got it plowed too soon compared to everyone else. And after that rant, the last thing I want to say is, many of you know my sister, Jennifer Brooke. This weekend, she'll be celebrating her 40th birthday. That's after 2 kidney transplants. And she has many close people in the community. She drives some of us crazy, but she has a very, very big heart and is always out to help everyone. And I just want to wish her the best birthday ever. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Happy birthday to Jennifer. And I didn't know we were judged while we were up here. I thought they all liked us. Mayor, sir, you ready?
Yes, yes. Good evening, everybody. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the Personnel and Finance Committee and Alexis Zak, our CFO, on doing what I think is an outstanding job on our budget this year. The budget represents a $77 increase for an assessed home of $134,000. I think that's outstanding. It's a little over $5 a month. But I will say this. There are other homes in town that are assessed for a lot more than $134,000. And I just look forward to the day when we can tell our citizens that we're going to have a zero increase. Because when you think about it, although it's $77, we have a Board of Education increase, and if we stand the cap, it's going to be about the same, and we have an increase at the county level. So you take a house, and you're looking at $150, and if you take a house assessed at twice that, maybe a two-family, you're looking at maybe $300 or $400 a year extra. And we just can't sustain these type of increases and continue to have what I think a viable city. So I would just hope that we continue our efforts to try to keep our budgets under control, but I look forward to the day that we have a zero increase. And I think that we need to set an example for the other agencies, so maybe they would do the same, because we deserve a break here in Linden. Okay. But again, you did a great job. I'm not going to knock you over the head, okay? Saturday, May 21st is Kids to Park Day, and the Mayor's Youth Commission, in conjunction with our Recreation Department, will be sponsoring a day of fun at Wilson Park. So we look forward to all of our young people coming to the park. I believe the festivities start at 12 noon, so we're going to have hot dogs, games, and a number of festivities that I think the young people of our community will like. On May 19th, we're going to be celebrating Haitian Independence Day at 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock right here in front of City Hall. We'll be raising the Haitian flag to commemorate their independence. So we look forward to the residents of Linden coming out to celebrate with our Haitian brothers and sisters on that day they feel is very important to them. I'd like to thank Skoda Contracting and Elizabethtown Gas for donating $15,000 to the Mayor's Youth Commission to be utilized for outdoor recreation activities for our young people. Skoda, as you all know, is the contractor who is engaged in some of the infrastructure improvements in town, and they felt that it was important for them to give back to the community because of all of the things that they were doing to disrupt our residents. So I want to thank Skoda for that. I want to comment a little bit about the SID, since our 10th Ward Councilman brought it up. I do agree with her that SID could be improved, and I would just hope that the governing body, all of us should really take an active part in talking to the SID, the Special Improvement District, people who represent that district, to see what we can do to improve how the money is being spent and give them some constructive direction. You know, it's very easy for us to say that we don't like something, but when we provide constructive direction, that helps tremendously. So all of us have good ideas, I'm sure, on how we could make the SID a better run operation. So I think we all should probably give them a call and share our thoughts and ideas with them so we can make it better. Now, we also had a study done with regards to the SID on St. George Avenue and the SID on the US 1 corridor. And unfortunately, the NW Financial came back and they didn't give us the desired reports that we would like to have received. And I think that NW Financial should go back because I think their focus was on creating a SID for hiring additional police. And I think the focus should have been creating a SID to improve the aesthetics of St. George Avenue. So we hope that NW Financial will go back and they will take a good hard look at that and come back with some additional recommendations. I think that about sums it up. Oh, no, I just want to mention also that later on this evening we'll be introducing an ordinance with regard to the JTG scaffolding property in Linden, and I think it's a great project. It's a project that I think is going to transform that area. As most of you know, a lot of the towns that are along the Northeast Corridor, or even towns that have rail systems, are growing vertically. And Linden is going to do the same. This is going to be a tremendous asset for us in Linden. It's going to be a nice rateable, and I think it's going to spur development from the JTG scaffolding all the way down to Stiles Street because we're looking at that as well. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mayor. As the mayor said, May 21st is Haitian Independence Day, but this Saturday, April 23rd, we have the Sandals for Haiti. The Uptown Linden and Cultural and Heritage Committee have put the fundraiser to send a group of us engineers with no borders to go down to Haiti to get some wells for a couple of orphanages, and we're trying to get as much help as possible. Not only, obviously, money, because the wells are going to cost money to build, but well, Haiti needs a lot of things, you know, from sandals to clothing, and it's all for the kids. So please, that's this Saturday, the Promenade, 6 o'clock. I believe they're also having a movie, which is Despicable Me. That's me. The other thing is this Tuesday, Councilwoman Yamakaitis forgot to mention, I don't know if she wants to mention it, about the Scouts. You want to mention it?
Yes, this Tuesday, we're going to be having our annual Scout and Government Day. I'm really excited. Bayway Phillips Refinery is going to host a tour for the Scouts. We're going to have Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, as well as our Law Explorers participate this year. Afterwards, we're going to be returning to City Hall for the Scouts to tour City Hall, meet with the mayor, meet with some of their respective department heads, and to finish off the evening, they come and join us on the dais and actually vote in our actual council meeting. So it's going to be a fun day for everyone, so I look forward to doing this again this year. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I know it has been mentioned before about the gas company and the water company. They're doing a lot of renovations here in Linden. Once they're done, or once you think they're done, if you think they haven't done a decent job, please let your council representative know. We will call the DPW and the engineer department, make sure they check, because they're supposed to do the job correctly. Now, at this time, we will be going into resolutions, Resolution 2016-152 to 2016-188. Since the budget was adopted, I'm asking for a motion to remove Resolution 174 and 175. I need a motion to remove 174 and 175.
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Public comments will be permitted for those specific resolutions to be removed from the consent approval. Please read the synopsis of the resolution, which have been prepared by the city clerk's office. Each is informative and self-explanatory. However, if you wish to address a specific resolution, the council will entertain questions on it. Does anyone wish to remove a resolution from 152 through 188, with exceptions, of course, of 174 and 175? No. In that case, oh, this is great. In that case, may I have a motion for resolutions 2016-152 through 2016-188, with the exceptions of 174 and 175, please?
Council President, I make a motion that we adopt resolutions 152 through 188, with the exception of 174 and 175, and seek a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. At this time, we're going to ordinances of first reading. The ordinance number 6028 all the way through 6039, and I believe there will be 6040. Deputy Clerk, can you please read 60-28?
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $157,300 for the acquisition of command vehicles for the fire department and authorizing the issuance of $149,435 in bonds or notes to finance part of the appropriation.
Is there anyone wishing to make a comment? No questions, just comments on this ordinance. In that case, may I have a motion, please, to introduce the ordinance?
Council President, I'm requesting the introduction of ordinance 60-28 and seek a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling? Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-29?
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $99,000 for the acquisition of various firefighting equipment and authorizing the issuance of $94,050 in bonds or notes to finance part of the appropriations.
Is there anyone wishing to make any comments? No questions on this ordinance. May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I make a motion for the introduction of ordinance 60-29
29.
and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown? Brooks?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Deputy Clerk, please, can you read ordinance 60-30?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 26 Flood Damage Protection and add Article 4.
Does anybody want to make a comment on this ordinance? No questions. May I have a motion, please?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we move ordinance 60-30 and seek a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling. Yes. Sadowski.
Yes.
Strano.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Hickey.
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez.
Yes. Ms. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-31?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic, amending Section 7-10 Parking Prohibited at All Times in Certain Streets as follows. Add North Style Street South Side from the easterly curb line of Amon Terrace to a point 150 feet westerly. North Style Street North Side from the projected easterly curb line of Amon Terrace to a point 150 feet easterly.
Does anybody wish to make a comment? No questions. May I have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I make a motion for the introduction of ordinance 60-31 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-32?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic, amending Section 7-12 Parking Time Limited as follows. 2-hour parking at Greer Avenue, North Side, from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday, from South Park Avenue to Worth Avenue.
Does anybody wish to make a comment on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I move for introduction of ordinance 60-32 and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-33?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic, amending Section 22.1, four-way stop intersections. Add East Curtis Street and Maple Avenue.
Is there anybody that wish to make a comment? No questions? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, make a motion for the introduction of ordinance 60-33 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-34?
An ordinance extending rent control in the city of Linden from April 19, 2016 to April 18, 2018.
Does anybody wish to make a comment on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I would like to move for the introduction of ordinance 60-34 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-35?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 10 Building and Housing by adding Section 10-2.1B, cancellation of construction permits and refunds.
Anybody wish to make a comment on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we introduce ordinance 60-35 to seek a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-36?
A guarantee ordinance regarding the payment of the principal of and interest on certain city guaranteed lease revenue bonds, Series 2016, City of Linden Omnibus Revenue Refunding Project of the Union County Improvement Authority in an aggregate principal amount not exceeding $28 million for the purpose of providing additional security in connection with the authority's aforementioned bonds.
Does anybody wish to make a comment on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, make a motion for the introduction of ordinance 60-36 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Ms. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-37?
An ordinance authorizing the execution and acknowledgement and delivery by the City of Linden of certain agreements in connection with the Union County Improvement Authority's City Guaranteed Lease Revenue Bond Series 2016.
Anybody wish to make a comment on this ordinance? May I have a motion to introduce the ordinance, please?
Council President, make a motion for the introduction of ordinance 60-37. Ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes, Mr. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-38?
An ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, an ordinance establishing a schedule of titles, salary ranges, and regulations for maintaining the classification and salary standardization plan of all employees of the City of Linden, amending and modifying Schedule 4KK2.
Anybody wish to make a comment on the introduction of this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I make a motion for the introduction of ordinance 60-38 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes, Mr. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-39?
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $170,000 for the acquisition of park equipment for Dr. Martin Luther King Park, Memorial Park, and authorizing the issuance of $90,250 in bonds or notes for financing part of the cost.
Does anybody wish to make a comment or no questions on this ordinance? May I have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, make a motion for the introduction of ordinance 60-39. Call for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes, Mr. Deputy Clerk, can you please read ordinance 60-40?
An ordinance of the City Council, City of Linden, County of Union, New Jersey, adopting a redevelopment plan for the properties identified on the tax map of the City of Linden as Block 288, Lots 1, 2, 13, 14, and 15, and Block 254, Lots 12, 13, and 16.
Anybody wish to make a comment? No questions on the introduction of this ordinance? Can I please have a motion to introduce the ordinance?
That's not me.
Mr. President, I'll move ordinance number 60-40 for introduction and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
No.
Brown?
No.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. At this time, we're going to go into comments from the public in attendance. This will be city business only, no personal, political, or derogatory comments. You will have 5 minutes, no more. Ms. Vasquez. Oh, I saw the picture. It's beautiful. What?
Nice.
It's an aircraft carrier.
A vessel.
Yes.
Good evening, Sandra Vasquez, Seymour Avenue. I'm here tonight once again as the project graduation chairperson. We've been fundraising all month long. We've been doing various things. And yes, we have received some very generous donations. However, that $15,000, there's specific details in how we spend that money. That's not all going to go for bash. So I don't want anybody to think that my fundraising efforts, I've reached the goal, because we have not. Though we're doing pretty good. The seniors are still selling pasta from now until April 25th. There'll be some other fundraisers I'll mention next month. It seems that everybody's fundraising. It's just every group, is trying to raise money the best way they can. But what I want to ask is, you could just keep sharing it on your information page, because although you may be too busy yourself to volunteer, maybe people in your circle. That's why I know some people think Facebook is, not a good way to communicate. It's the way they communicate now. It's just the way it is. And if you could just share, when my next meeting is, it's going to be on the 27th at 7 p.m. in the 3rd floor. I would like some young peoples and volunteers to join my committees, because now I'm getting down to the nitty-gritty. It's 2 months away, and I'm going to need volunteers and people to help with decorations. And even if you can't chaperone, because everybody says, oh, the bash, we start at 11 and we have until 5 in the morning. You can give 1 hour, 2 hours, or I'm gonna need help the night before, like transporting goods. We're gonna have water and ice cream and decorations the day prior. But that information will be put out as I don't like to get too far ahead of myself. I set my goals for 1 month at a time, or else I wouldn't be able to do this. So our next meeting is April 27th, 7 p.m. in the, what do you call it, council chambers or?
Caucus
Planning
room.
board, planning board. And we're gonna start getting our committees together and see how much we're gonna need for BASH. Thank you, that's all. Oh, and Alexis, great job with the presentation. I actually understood it.
Thank you, Ms. Vasquez. Ms. Margot?
On now? Okay. Can you hear me? Patty Mergo, 2519 Greer Avenue. I understand that. I know Tuesday is Scout Day, and I look forward to coming here for that because I think it's a lot. I used to be a scout. I went all the way up to an explorer. So it's really nice to see the young people, especially a few from our neighborhood, from the 8th Ward, actually grow into their maturity. But also, at the same time, I would be amiss by not mentioning that the Environmental Commission is also here giving out the awards for their poster contest, which was judged in the library by companies, and I know, fortunately, Phillips 66, not me, but the engineers from Phillips 66 are part of the judging, and so was a few other companies. Exactly who, because I was not there, I don't know exactly all the companies that were involved, but there will be gifts given out to the winners of the poster contest. So I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that also happening next Tuesday. That's all I got. Good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Margot. At this time, I need a motion to close the public comment.
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown? Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Does anybody in the dais wants to make a comment? 1 minute, no more. I will cut you off this time.
This one?
Great. Okay. The following council meetings will be as follows.
Council President, I did say
Yes.
this. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, just real quick, a lot has been said today about SID, and usually I don't like talking about SID, but one of the things that I keep harping on, and we have to go over and over again, is that when we talk about the conditions of the storefronts in SID, it's not SID's responsibility to maintain those properties, it's the city of Linden. That's why I mentioned in my report, the law committee meeting with construction code and other businesses, as far as we have storefronts that are clearly in violations of some of our code violations, and it's up to the city to enforce these, which yesterday alone, they sent out about, I want to say about 10 summons that are city ordinances that are being violated. So, a lot of times when I hear discussions up here about SID, the city also has to do its part on helping cleaning Wood Avenue clean, which we currently are working on. End of report.
Thank you, Councilman. The following council meetings will be as follows. Council conference meeting prior to the council meeting, Tuesday, April 26, 2016 at 6:30 p.m. in the council conference room, City Hall, 301 Northwood Avenue. Council meeting, Scout and Government Day, this Tuesday, April 26, 2016 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers, City Hall, 301 Northwood Avenue. May I please have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Byer?
Yes.
Brown? Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Everybody have a good night and drive carefully.
This was a pleasure.